Welcome to the program. Now, security has been beefed up in parts of Nyanza with 2 giant anti-riot water cannons on standby as police prepare for demonstrations after a push for dialogues on electoral reforms collapsed. The water cannons are likely to be used to keep protesters away from the offices of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Nairobi is reported to have 6 water cannons, while Mombasa and Kisumu each have 2. 2 weeks ago, 3 people were killed and 30 others injured during street protests in Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay and Migori. The anti-IEBC protests are expected to resume in various parts of the country tomorrow. More than 150 members of parliament from across the political divide are set to meet on Tuesday in an effort to resolve the Electoral Commission stalemate. The MPs have held a series of consultations in Nairobi with a view to roping in more members before inviting stakeholders from outside parliament, while the opposition insists an extra parliamentary political process with membership from the political divide is the best way to address differences on the composition of the IEBC. President Kenyatta insists the law must be followed and any change must be through parliament. Last week, Raila announced 5 names of people from his side that he wants to deliberate with those from Jubilee to negotiate on how to establish an electoral commission that draws its representations from political parties, religious bodies and civil society. The opposition claims that as currently constituted, the IEBC is inclined towards Jubilee and cannot oversee next year's polls. Now, Nakuru County leaders have taken issue with Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaiseri over his alleged failure to effect a court order banning demos for the ouster of the IEBC. Now, the leaders, led by Governor Kenuthi Ambugwa, said that Nkaiseri risks an ouster if he fails to deal with court protests. Addressing a news conference in Nakuru, the leaders said the security apparatus should tackle the demos to avoid the country plunging into violence. The leaders faulted CORD over its plan to remove IEBC through illegal means.
Kombo na Mudhama, in fact, CORD hawako serious. Kama walitaka kabisa kwenda kulete watu wafanye majadiliano kuhusiana maneno ya IEBC, I think they ought to have done better than that.
Sasa kama munataka tena turudi kwa ile mkate nusu, mimi naona hiyo itakuwa shida kwa Wakenya kwa sababu constitution iko na imesema vile watu wale wako kazini vile wanatolewa. Moja sheria ile inasema ya kwamba ukitaka kutoa watu kwa uongozi lazima muende demonstration.
Haja yao sana hata sio IEBC kutoka. Wako na haja ya kusisimua nchi na pia wako na haja ya kuamsha hisia za kikabila wakisema kwamba serikali ya Jubilee ni ya makabila mawili.
I think as a country we must learn to mature. We must also learn from our own mistakes. In 2007, na sisi tukiwa watu wa Nakuru especially, we know what transpired in our county and in the country. Na hile makosa ambayo tutafanya kwa kuanza ku heighten tensions kwa hii nchi is going to be very adverse, especially to our own county of Nakuru.
Senator Hassan Omar has rejuvenated his bid for Mombasa governorship with a scathing attack on former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, accusing him of meddling in the county's politics. The senator took a swipe at Raila for what he said was a perceived validation of the current administration led by Governor Ali Hassan Joho. In a rejoinder, Mombasa County Communication Director Richard Chacha defended the track record of the current office, saying next year's polls will be the ultimate deciding factor.
It has been the principle of Jubilee, and it's very clear to Kenyans, that electoral commission shall be negotiated, dialogue within the precincts of the law. And there are 4 ways which the law stipulates on how electoral commission can go, or IEBC commissioners can go. 1 is through natural attrition. 2 is when your term expires, which for this it will expire in November next year. Another one is personal resignation if somebody resigns. And another one is petition. So God must know that there are 4 options that are available for them within the law. And you cannot force something that let us do some things outside the law when it doesn't fit you. What does God want? we know what God wants.
Now, innovative new programs in Nairobi are helping to reach and train the next generation of Kenya's musicians and teaching young people to perform and appreciate music. Take a look. Right, and the Senator Hassan Omar, of course, has rejuvenated his bid for Mombasa governorship with a scathing attack on former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, accusing him of meddling in the county's politics. The senator took a swipe at Raila for what he said was a perceived validation of the current administration led by Governor Ali Hassan Joho, saying that that in a rejoinder, Mombasa County Communications Director Richard Chacha defended the track record of the current office, saying that next year's polls will be the ultimate deciding factor.
Mtague mtu ambaye aweza kuzungumza. Ndio nikamwambia mzee wetu Raila Odinga, Mombasa deserves better. We love the Prime Minister, but we also love Mombasa, and we will change Mombasa. Na mara Joho siku hizi mara so suddenly anaanza kuruka, sijuenda kuzika na yeye kuzika. Anjua jana au mambo yashakuwa mabaya huku. Leo wadhulumu wafanyabiashara local ambao wamejitengeneza wenyewe. Wawavunjia mabiashara yao. Wawataka nyumba kutoka kwao wakati wanataka building. Hiyo ugatuzi umekwenda wapi?
Now let's revisit that story on the arts. And innovative new programs in Nairobi are helping to reach and train the next generation of Kenya's musicians and teaching young people to perform and appreciate music. Take a look.
The Kenya National Anthem is the first piece these young musicians play at a concert in Nairobi. Many of them had never played instruments before until they started attending classes offered by Ghetto Classics. It's a charity program that offers free music lessons to children from low-income neighborhoods. They learn classical music but are also introduced to other genres.
You find that at home, you find that most of the time you can go even without food. And so this going without food as like the only remaining boy in the house, I feel like that should not be happening. And so you find that I don't have anything to do to counterattack that. So you find that I'm stressed up, and then if I go to the music room, I take my tuba and I play it out. After playing it out, I realize that I'm not again stressed up until I go back home.
Music is no longer taught in primary schools in Kenya and is only an elective in secondary school. Most children from poor families cannot afford private lessons. Ghetto Classics hopes to change this. Elizabeth Njoroge is the project's director.
We have objective evidence, particularly with the kids that we've been working with over a long time, and the kids who you saw performing here, they're doing so well in school, you know? That stability, that teamwork, I think having that stability in their life, and also music opens up another part of their brain. They do so well in school and they become good kids.
Things are rather different at private institutions like the Brookhouse International School, which offers British curriculum. One of the courses is a business and technology diploma in music for senior students who want to pursue a professional career. Ian Bogwa is a music teacher here. He believes gifted music students are being neglected in the Kenyan education system, which tends to focus on mathematics and science subjects.
Literacy is not just reading and writing, because we're not all brilliant in reading and writing. And we're not supposed to be. We're all different. We're different talents. So if a child has a talent in music, that is what should be developed. Just concentrate on what they are good at. Sadly, that's not what we're doing. Math, English.
That's it.
The students undergo rigorous training, which incorporates the latest music technologies. Kavinya, a singer, songwriter, already has a visible presence on social media and on music sites like SoundCloud.
I like neo soul and all that type of music. So I see myself, first I want to be in Kenya and build the music industry here. I mean, make people understand music in Kenya as much, because in Kenya they're selective. I don't, just like that. So, and then after that, hopefully, I'll go out there and I don't know, win a Grammy maybe one day.
Pursuing a music career can be tough anywhere in the world, but Eugene Kanyungo, a multi-instrumentalist, is not discouraged.
So I need to plan myself really well and decide that, during the day, I'm going to be the neurosurgeon who's running around, but at night, I'm solely putting myself to music. And really, it's where your heart is. If your heart is in music, do that with all your heart. If your heart is in medicine, if your heart is in both, you'll always find a way. It's never impossible.
Initiatives like Ghetto Classics and BTEC at Brookhouse are helping to nurture young Kenyan artists and create a culture of music appreciation from an early age. Ellen Wanjiru, KTN News.
Highlights of the news making headlines this hour. My name is Sharon Momanyi. Good afternoon.